Do you ever suffer with dark under eye circles? Of course not. None of us do, right? Wouldn't that be awesome if that were the truth? Well, I have put together a quick little video to show you how you can cover dark under eye circles. And it's probably a lot different than what you've heard before. This is a mini video that I have put together from excerpts from classes that I use when I teach my professional makeup artistry classes. So I hope that you enjoy it. If you do, please share on your social media sites so that your other friends can watch as well. And based on demand and response, we will have more of these on our blog coming soon. So love to hear the things that you would like to see, and I hope that this video helps you look much more refreshed and ditch those dark under eye circles. Have a great day. Hi and welcome. In today's class, we're going to talk about under eye concealing and correcting and what the difference is. Concealers are used to cover all sorts of blemishes, but the most common reason that women ask for a concealer is to neutralize or cover dark circles under the eyes. So you can see that I do have on a foundation. Actually, it's just a very light BB cream today. But I purposely didn't put any concealer under my eyes so that you could see the difference as we go forward and I show you how to apply the concealer. Okay, to begin, I'm going to show you the difference in a concealer and a corrector. Concealers are typically more creamy, lighter weight formulas. For example, this is a liquid concealer and it's a creamy formula, so it's not going to be as pigmented as a cream or a stick. So therefore, that's going to be something that you would apply to areas that don't have very deep discoloration. So a concealer like that would most likely not work for darkness under the eyes or if you were trying to hide hyperpigmentation. Darkness under the eyes tends to have a blue cast to it, and that is because the skin underneath the eyes is thinner than it is anywhere else in the body. So veins that are underneath the eyes are visible, which gives it a blue cast. So we need to learn the difference between covering and neutralizing a discoloration. So if we want to cover something, for example, let's say that we have hyperpigmentation on our face, or a dark spot on our face that we want to cover. We would have to go darker than our skin tone to cover it because our skin surrounding the dark spot is lighter than the actual spot we want to cover. So as you can imagine, if we went darker than my skin tone, as dark as a discoloration, which there's not one that I can really show you that's blaring at the moment. This is the closest one that I could find, but just think about it. You see people that have dark spots or age spots. If you had to cover those and you were trying to find something to cover, you would naturally have to go darker. So that is going to look very, very unnatural on the face. It's going to be much darker than the neck and the chest, and it's going to look like a mask. So you cannot cover hyperpigmentation or dark spots or under eye circles. We need to neutralize them. So color theory comes into play when we talk about neutralizing or camouflaging dark spots or tattoos. You want to look at the color of discoloration that you are trying to hide, and then you're going to select your shade of concealer or corrector based on the color of the imperfection or discoloration. Okay, when we are talking about neutralizing color of discolorations, we need to think about the color wheel. So if we are looking at a color wheel, and let's just, because it's easy, let's think about a blemish, a pimple or a blemish or skin acne that was on the face. It's going to be red. So we're going to take the color wheel and we're going to find red on the color wheel. Now to neutralize discoloration, we need to find the color complement to the color we are trying to hide. So if we are trying to hide red, we're going to look at the color wheel, and the color complements are always directly across from one another. So if we've got a red blemish that we're trying to hide, then we need to use a green corrector because green is going to neutralize red. So let's think about darkness under the eyes. So if darkness under the eyes has a blue cast, then we need to use orange, an orange corrector or concealer to neutralize the blue under eye circles. So if they tend to look more purple, then you're gonna go with more of a yellowish orange. So same thing, sallowness in the skin. If somebody has a lot of yellowness in the skin, or as a bruise is healing, how it has yellow, then we need to go with a lilac concealer. So you kind of get the picture. These are great. I recommend all of my students pick up a color wheel. You can pick them up at any craft store. I think I got this one at Michael's. But these are very, very helpful when you're trying to figure out what type of what color of concealer or corrector to use. So when we are talking about correcting under eye circles, those are dark. Again, they're going to have more of a bluish cast, so we need to go with a peach colored corrector or orange based corrector. I have a darker skin tone, so I'm probably a medium to dark. My dark circles are going to be a little bit deeper than a fair person's discoloration just by the color of the skin that's over it. So I am going to need a peach colored. So here are examples. So if we're talking about pure orange, this is an orange corrector. This is the NYX NYX corrector. It's actually called a concealing pot. These are very pigmented and these are great. This is one of the deepest orange, especially for a drugstore or a mass market brand that you can find. One of my favorites is the Bobbi Brown. Now this is her corrector that's in the pot. She has most recently launched correcting serums and I really like these. They're very heavily pigmented, but they've got a lighter consistency, more of a serum based consistency, so they don't tend to settle into fine lines. Okay, to begin, I'm going to take my peach colored concealer and we can use the pot or we can use the serum. Just to show you the concealer pot from Bobbi Brown is more pigmented than the concealer. I typically prefer to use the serum based one on a regular basis unless my darkness under the eyes is very, very deep, because this can move a little bit. It's more of a thicker consistency than the serum. The serum really kind of dries down onto the skin like a face serum would. So, but just to show you, because this is going to be the most common one, you can use your finger or you can use a concealing brush, and there are all types of concealing brush, so think about the area that you're trying to conceal. This is a nice one because it's thin and it's small. I typically like to start with my finger, and I'm going to take my ring finger because it's got the least amount of pressure, and I'm going to rub it in the pot, and then I'm going to take the concealer and I'm going to just dab it underneath my eye. So we're going to do this one. I think this one's a little darker. And you're going to take it and tap it just in the area where you have the blueness or the deepest discoloration. So that's typically on the inner corner of the eye and around the eye on the bottom. So you can see that I'm more tapping as opposed to sweeping my finger back and forth. So you can already see I haven't even blended it in, but you can already see a major difference in the shape of this eye compared to this eye, just because we neutralized the discoloration underneath this eye, so it made it look more forward and almost a little bit more almond shaped, because dark makes things recede. I naturally have dark, deep set eyes, so just by taking away the discoloration under this eye looked more forward. Okay, so as you can see, this side where I used the orange, this is actually dark peach from Bobbi Brown, definitely helped with the discoloration underneath my left eye. So compare the two and you can see how this color really helped to neutralize the discoloration.